Hey, welcome back. Today we're talking about dads and daughters. Dads and daughters. I am a testament of someone who was raised with a dad who was very stressed and who did not understand my temperament. And at that time, he was distant from me and he was harsh with me, and that did a tremendous amount of damage. But we have a great relationship today, and God can restore anything wherever you are in your relationship with your daughter if you're a dad. So I just want to go over some points on this topic, and I hope that these things will be helpful for you. So when you're a dad and you have a daughter, obviously this child is the opposite gender from you, right? So there's a level of disconnection already. So because of that, I would encourage you to make efforts to connect with your daughter. Make efforts to connect. Don't just let things, flow along, and don't do anything proactive or anything, just take initiative is my point. Take initiative to connect with your daughter. If you can, make loving eye contact with her. Eye contact that says, I see you, I appreciate you, I have good feelings about you, and I have good intentions for you. That kind of eye contact, all right? Another thing you want to do, a goal, it will not be this way all the time, but in general, you want to move in this direction, be a place of emotional safety for your daughter. You want to be a place where she can come with her problems, where she can dump some things she's carrying, where she can unload some heavy burdens. Okay? And so in order to be in this type of position for her, you're going to have that kind of a relationship with the Lord so that you can give that to your daughter. You can only give what you have and what you've been given. So move in your relationship with the Lord towards this place where you feel emotionally safe with Him. Then that will enable you to be emotionally safe place for your daughter to come. You're going to want to give her affirmations. I did a video on affirmations, and these can be sincere and realistic and biblical. It's just encouragement. And those daughters whose love language is words of encouragement or affirmation, this will bring them to life. This will bring them to life. I'm telling you, it's just God's design. The spoken word is very powerful. You're going to also want to, just like you do in your relationship with the Lord and in your relationship with your wife, grace rules. And there's always truth, but grace always comes first, and then we go to the truth. Another thing you're going to want to do is have strong boundaries with your daughter. You can have a close relationship with her or a decent relationship with her. You don't let her run all over you. You don't let her run the family if she has this domineering personality. You don't let her continually be disrespectful or harm or hurt the other siblings if there are any others. And if she is an only child, you teach her that she's not the only person on the planet. There are other people and she has to learn to work with them. You want to protect her. This has to do with boundaries, but you want to protect her. You protect her, and then you protect her from herself. There can be habits and things that girls do that are destructive and they don't realize it. Gossiping, backbiting, tantrums, all of this type of thing. And so you have to help her by protecting her from herself. And you can do that by being a safe place where she can come and she can bring all of that stuff to you. And that will be a way to help her decompress and to protect her from herself when you're there. The strength of a dad, that masculine, male strength that is there for you. Y'all, you don't understand the power in this. The power in this for daughters, for sons, for wives. Men and dads do not realize, they have no clue how much power they have and influence over the family. Just being there and being passive does a tremendous amount of damage, and men have no idea. So I'm just letting you know that you are very important. You have a tremendous amount of power and influence over your family, everyone in your family, and especially your daughters. And so you're going to want that strength in your relationship with the Lord so that you can pass that on to the members of your family. That's your job. That's your job. And so in that same thought, you're going to want to be and move toward a place where you are strong and soft on the inside. Strong and soft. Strong means you don't get pushed around. Strong means you don't compromise. Strong means you're willing to go through pain and suffering and deal with your issues in order to grow and be the dad that your children need. And soft is Jesus lives inside you. And so that is how he is. He's strong and soft. He has a heart of mercy. A heart of mercy. That heart of mercy is always there. And so that's how you can develop to be strong and soft for your daughters. Try to initiate some activities with your daughter. Let her choose at first. What do you want to do? Like how you kind of defer to the wife as a gentleman. Where would you like to go eat? You try to give her preference. A lot of times, you're going to want to give your daughter, ask her, what would you like to do? And you can give her a choice. You want to go get ice cream? Do you want to go play basketball? Or do you want to go take a walk? Just give her 3 totally different things if she can't decide. Or let her decide if she knows what she wants to do. If she wants you to come and sit in her room with her, and while she plays with her dolls and have a tea party, do it. Do whatever is in her heart and join in that, because if that is where her heart is, that tea party, and you join in that activity with her, she sees that you value her heart. See, you're not being less than a man. You're not being effeminate. No, you're being a man because you're entering into the heart of your daughter. It makes you more of a man when you enter into the heart of your daughter or your wife. That is so important, and that is how to keep them close to you forever, is enter into their heart, respect their heart. And then later, as you develop a stronger relationship, you can say to her, do you want to come to my dirt bike race? Or do you want to come to this, rough, tough kind of activity? And she may say no, and that's fine. Don't be offended. Let her do what she wants, but you're bonding with these activities. One thing you don't want to do is just all of a sudden start taking her to all of these things that you want to do, all these masculine activities, because that will give her the message in an undercurrent type of way that, wow, I wish you were a boy. I'm disappointed that you're a girl. I'm going to try to get my needs to have a son fulfilled through you. I'm disappointed. That's the message that you will give her if you only do those type of activities. You can give her that message mistakenly. Okay, what else? Girls can escalate easily, right? Can't they? They can get upset when they're toddlers, when they're tweens and their hormones start to flow, and especially as teenagers. So there's a escalating and de-escalating ratio that I want to help you see, that when, not if, but when your daughter escalates, gets upset, or whatever her thing is that she does, the more she escalates and gets upset or gets stressed out or raises her voice, practice you de-escalating. The louder and more upset she gets, the calmer you get. You know what that will do? That will help calm her down, because that will let her know you're strong. You're not intimidated by her. You're not threatened by her offended by her behavior, you are there for her and you're strong, and it will help bring her down to your level. And even if it doesn't, over time it will, the more you stay calm, because you are leading her in that humility. You're leading her in that servanthood of hearing her out and then setting limits with her, but not joining in the frenzy with her. And because she's acting like a child, you start to act like a child. You don't want to do that. You don't want her to bring you to the childish level. You want to bring her to the calm level. And over time, that will do that. This is a model you'll be giving her of how God is with us. This is how he is with us. He's not offended or upset or threatened by our fits or whatever we do. And so he calmly draws us close to him and heals us. And so that's the model that you're going to be giving her when you do that. Also, it will be the model in her mind and heart of a gentleman. And so you'll be modeling a gentleman, and that will increase the chances that when she does get married, she'll be attracted to somebody like this. Soft and strong, doesn't get pulled into arguments, doesn't freak out over everything. No, because he knows the Lord. He knows that God already knew this was going to happen and that the Lord's going to show him what to do. So he doesn't have to worry. Another thing you can do for your daughter is to love your wife. That will be an example of what she will move toward in her development. I did several videos on wives and husbands and tips for husbands and marriage. But anyway, another thing you want to do is think about your daughter in the image of, in your subconscious mind, the Lord will show you this, you will see your daughter in a certain image. Well, I think she should be like the Little House on the Prairie. Or I want my daughter to be like my mother. Or I want my daughter to be just like my wife. There are these ways that we have inside us that are contrary to God's purposes. And I'm asking you or suggesting that you ask the Lord to show you what these are in your mind. We all do this. It's just our woundedness and the things that we've experienced. We're trying to kind of compensate for those. But if you can get the Lord to show you anything, any kind of image that you're trying to raise your daughter in subconsciously that is not the image of God, like father, like daughter, then he will show you. It can be a stereotype. Well, I think she should be very soft-spoken and very, just stay at home and cook and clean all day. Well, all women are not like that. So give your daughter the freedom to be who God has designed her to be. Like I said before, it could be, I want her to be like my mother or her mother, or this phantom daughter that you're imagining exists and you're kind of subconsciously comparing her to that. Okay? Also, as in all the other videos, I mentioned this, most of them, when you deal with your own issues, dads, you're not just dealing with your own issue. You're not just healing your own heart. You're not just giving yourself a more sound mind. You're giving that gift to the whole family. Why? Because you're the head. You're the head, and you have tremendous influence over your family. A family can be in total chaos. If you look at the dad and you position him and you get him healed and in the right place, you'll be amazed how that family will slowly come back into formation. It may not be really soon, it may not be perfect, but it's just a huge influence that you guys have. When a dad is out of whack, it ricochets over the whole family. And that happens with every person in the family, but it is so pronounced with the dad because he is the head. And that is why I always say deal with your own issues, and it will help heal the whole family and help everybody go in the right direction. And also, we'll go over this in a second, but try to give your daughter hugs. If you are a non-hugger and you do not like anyone to ever touch you, then pray and ask the Lord if he could somehow give you a way to show physical affection to your daughter. But if you can stand to hug, or at least if you can't hug, at least put your hand on her back, and just put your hand on her back, like right here, when you're near her. That will, or on her shoulder, or on her head gently. That will give a sense of affirmation and approval and connection to her. Okay, and if you can hug, do hug. And if you can, let her let go first. Let her release the hug first, and then you let go. That will be very much of a blessing to her. If you just hug and let go, there's a subconscious sense of rejection or abandonment down there, and so you want to avoid that if you can. Try to give anytime you hurt her feelings or there's a misunderstanding. Don't freak out. Just go to her and say, I'm sorry about what happened. I'm sorry that I stepped on your toe. I just really want you to know that I'm so sorry. And I want to ask that you please forgive me. Will you forgive me? And then listen to her. You need to know what you did. So she'll tell you, well, yeah, you stepped on my toe and then it bled and I had to go to the hospital and they had to give me stitches and then it got infected and you're like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. And then give her a hug. Be there for her. And then there are always these kids randomly that we can have that we don't understand. We don't like them because their temperament is the opposite of ours. On the little chart there, and there can just be this tension between these temperaments that they're wired in an opposite direction, or they can be wired exactly the same. And if they're very intense, they can butt heads a lot. So what I did, and what's really helpful for a lot of people, is to go to the 16 Temperaments website. They have a free temperament test. And you can do it for yourself. That will help you. Everyone in your family can do it. But I think once you're into your teenage years, maybe age 14 or so, you can do this, and it's very accurate. And even before then, if you have eyes to see it, you can tell what the temperaments are, what your temperament is of your daughter. And so lastly, I want to look at this illustration real quick. God's up here. God and you have a relationship with each other. And from that relationship, you are getting love and acceptance and connection from him. Thus, you can give that to your daughter. She will learn to reciprocate as the relationship develops. And over time, as this relationship develops and bonds and there's trust and repair when things go wrong, you will always be pointing her. She'll be dependent on you in many ways, but all along you're going to be pointing her to be dependent on the Lord and receive from him. And you're going to be always encouraging and pointing to her relationship with the Lord, because you're not always going to be there for her. And one day you'll be gone, and chances are you will die before she does. So you want to really foster this relationship between her and the Lord all the time. That's your goal in everything that you're doing here, to feed this for when you're gone. Okay? So that is just a quick look at dads and daughters. I hope something I've said has been helpful, and I hope that you have a blessed week, and God bless you.